Oh, I need my headphones.
Oh, and we're live now. Welcome to The Walking Dead with 3 stupid guys, and all 4 stupid guys are here. Matt's putting on his headphones. Mike has left the building. It's Taco Tuesday for Mike, and Russ. Russ is here, but he's got just a picture of himself he took, and we all think he looks like a serial killer. But how's it going, guys?
It's going pretty good.
Going good?
Going great.
I was trying to put a thing on my picture where down at the bottom it said available.
Available for all the chicks that are looking for someone to date.
Available for all the Carol lookalikes.
Now, Russ, before we get started with the podcast, you watched The Talking Dead last week, and what was your comment? Because you're the one that actually tweeted it from our Sports Talk with 3 Stupid Guys Twitter account. And if you want to follow us, you can go on Sports Talk with 3 Stupid Guys, and we'll follow you back. No questions asked.
Unless you're Russ.
Yeah.
Unless you're Russ.
Yeah, unless it's me. I can't even remember what my Twitter account name is. So.
Well, nobody cares.
It's the Canadian ref, I think. So.
The Canadian ref?
Like yeah, I don't know if it's the spelled out or if you put Canadian ref A. I don't know.
No,
actually,
like, you know what? I think it is. I think it is the Canadian ref.
Take off, hoser. Take off, eh?
So anyway, you watched the Talking Dead last week, right?
I did, and she was a guest on. Carol was a guest on there actually, and I was kind of like, going from my sofa to the kitchen, and I kind of glanced at the screen, and I took 2 steps, and I stopped, and I turned, and I was like, "Holy cow, that's Carol!" I was like, "Oh my God, she's actually like hot." And I couldn't believe it, and then when I saw Jack at work, I was like, if they made her out to look like that on the show, like she was smoking, like really.
Back in Time podcast with 3 stupid chauvinist guys.
Hey, don't let me in that boat, eh? We might be in the same boat, but I'm not in this boat.
I think we told you last week that she was attractive.
Yeah, and the way she looks like she's not from the Midwest, so that's a good thing.
Okay.
All right. So we've just insulted the Midwest 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know, our listenership is going down, but if you like being insulted on a podcast, you can join all our podcasts. You can go to Patreon/Jay and Jack and help us out there, but you can go to the whole enchilada feed and be insulted by several podcasts: Game of Thrones, Sports Talk with 3 Stupid Guys, which is coming back, special edition after this one, The Walking Dead, the Survivor with Jay and Jack and Colleen, The Amazing Race with Jack and Cindy. The Downton Abbey podcast finale was last week, so it's overdone, but still out there if you want to listen to it. And Leftovers, the Binge Watch podcast. This week we're going to be talking about House of Cards. You guys watched this season of House of Cards?
I have not.
No, that's my next show.
Have you watched any seasons before that?
No.
I have.
You have, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert, this might have been my favorite season.
Oh, I already took out my earbuds.
Okay, I just said it might be my favorite season. I'm not really spoiling
Okay.
anything.
Well, that might make me come back because I kind of stopped at the end of season 3. It was getting a little.
Season 3 was a little slow, but this
last
season,
quarter of season 3, I just was like.
Yeah, they brought their A game for this, but
okay.
Anyway, you can go there and like I said, watch it all, listen to it all, do whatever you want. But anyway, we're going to start talking about The Walking
Dead.
And the title of this episode was The Same Boat.
The same boat as Russ.
Yeah, and if you're watching us live, you can actually watch the episode as we're recording. But I'm a little ahead of myself, so we're a little behind the episode right now.
But you can always tune in too and check out our live YouTube feed if you want. Rate and review us on iTunes. Do what you like. I usually post the.
I want people to judge right now: is Russ a serial killer or not from this picture?
If he put available with a phone number, do you expect him to cut your lawn or more?
Your lawn or your throat?
Vote for me for city council.
I'll cut your lawn for you.
You betcha. Hey.
Actually, the look should be like, how many burgers in my pockets?
That would work too.
That's actually, I think that's actually going to bring the women in, Russ.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Anyway, so we start off with Carol and Maggie are in the woods, and Carol shoots Donnie, but she doesn't kill him. She shoots him in the shoulder, and then Maggie goes, "We got to finish him off." And then someone comes out and says, "You better drop your gun." Any thoughts on Carol not being the Rambo she has in the past and not doing the headshot? And at this point, are we?
Oh, you mean the fact that she just winged the guy? Well, I mean, we saw her last week where she was like writing down the names of the people.
Right.
It seems uncharacteristic that she would just wing the guy, but
as the episode goes on, we understand. But at this point, we're like going, "How'd she not kill the guy?"
You know what?
Right.
I when that scene happened, my first thought was from a scene from. Do you guys ever see the movie Kindergarten Cop?
It's not a tumor.
With
Girls-
Arnold.
Men
And
have a
there was-
penis,
there
girls
was a
have
part- There
vaginas.
was a part in there when he took over the kindergarten class and he was going, "You're all soft. You're soft." And that was going through my head. I was like, "Oh my God, she's getting soft too."
Huh. I didn't think really that much about it because it was all kind of it was kind of picking up where we left off, and I just was like, okay.
To that point, I think of all the people you want to be, if you want to be on your side out in the, if you just had one other person to pick, wouldn't it have been Carol at this point? Because she's such a badass. I mean, she was like Rambo. She's just a person. I mean, Rick is kind of crazy.
I guess I'd pick Rick or Daryl over her, but
Really?
that's just me. I'm not being a chauvinist. I mean, I
I
like
forgot
Carol.
you're from the Midwest.
I like, I've always liked Daryl's haircut. It's real style in there.
Yeah.
So
I'm jealous of his
crossbow
hair.
action.
I'm not going to lie. But anyway, so we go back to the scene of last week where Daryl tackles, and his name is Primo, and they tackle him, and then we have Paula is on the walkie-talkie. So any thoughts about this scene going on here, Mike?
Started off great. It was cool to see it from the different perspective. Almost had like a Lost type feel where you like see everything.
Right.
Oh yeah, it did kind of remind me of that too.
From the Savior's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Then Carol puts on the. They put Carol on the walkie-talkie, and she sounds scared. So at this point, I'm saying, is she just acting scared? Is she just pretending to be scared? Anybody else?
I thought she was just trying to figure out something to say. Like, I thought she was trying to give Rick a clue or a code, and then she just didn't have enough time.
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking that she was trying to think of something to say that would, kind of give him a, idea of what was going on.
Yeah, like there's only 4 of them. Like just something. Something to shout out.
And then was Primo a doctor or some kind of medical background? Because Donnie seemed to want Primo back so he could take care of his shoulder.
I think he grew the weed.
You think that's what it was?
Yeah.
And then
Primo does sound like a character from Breaking Bad or something.
Yeah.
It does.
The actor he's in Breaking Bad, isn't he? He's in Better Call Saul, right?
Not sure.
Not sure. All right. I didn't look.
I don't have the IMDb up for this
familiar.
episode.
But the character Michelle, who I thought was a Maggie lookalike.
Right.
She'd always her point of this whole episode was to make sure she had the gun on Carol and Maggie. If you look at her every scene, she's standing up and she has the gun pointed at, like they're gonna jump up and grab her at any time. And
she had one job to do.
That was what it was. They cover Maggie and Carol's head and they walk through the woods and give him. All we're seeing is the bottom. We're seeing the look from Maggie and Carol's look where they're looking down the ground, and then they eventually get in a car and drive away. Thinking, okay, this isn't going to turn out well for. I'm also thinking too. I go, all right, now this is where they're going to drag it out. This is where they're going to drag it out for a couple weeks, and we're going to find out what's going on. I still have that fear that The Walking Dead's going to get to a point where they drag something out. Anybody else?
Fear of the Walking Dead is another show. We're watching Walking Dead.
I don't. Russ?
Yes.
Fear of them dragging this out? Did you feel like this was a drag-out episode? Or?
No, I'm to this point.
To this point. Okay.
I think, oh, great. They're going to drive them away, and nothing's going to be resolved, and this is going to be cliffhanger for a couple weeks. What's going on? And there's only 3 episodes left after this. Is this going to be where we don't know what's happened to Maggie? We don't know what's happened to Carol. That was my fear when I saw them going through. Again, I'm still thinking past couple seasons where they tended to drag things out.
Alexandria.
I didn't think that too much, because I think the previews last week showed them actually inside the place. So I wasn't too, I was just like, kind of hurry up,
Okay, all right, I'll take that. Paula is talking to someone on the radio, and then Molly. They get to the safe house, and Molly doesn't like the safe house. Doesn't like it.
That's not much of a safe house. I don't like it. I don't like it. Can't smoke indoors. It's crazy.
She was one of the extras from Leftovers, right? Season 1.
Yeah, she must have been the guilty remnant. Let's see, and then Michelle, she drags the walker out, and the walker had a rosary, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, this was a
very important.
This was pretty keen of her to grab this with her feet.
And then as they're going out, they got to go kill the other walkers and make some room. And Paula says to Maggie and Carol, "Don't move, stay where you are," because she taped them all up. She goes, "Because I can."
Give me a reason.
It's all I can do. It's all I can do to keep from killing both of you. So pretty much Paula right now is a scary person, right?
She was kind of,
a badass.
I think she was trying to but you know what? Like, the crazy thing is the way she was being the whole time. I kept going like, oh my God, like she's got nothing on the rest of the people from Alexandria. I'm like, she's in so much trouble. Like, I just figured she wasn't gonna last very long. That's all I was thinking.
And then Carol puts the rosary in her pocket, and then when we come back, Carol starts to hyperventilate. Anyone, was this real or was it fake? Because at this point, I'm still thinking Carol's she's pretending that she's trying to show that she's weak. She's trying to show that she's not Rambo, to maybe get them off guard, keep their guard down, not to make them think that she's badass. But
I thought she was like pretending to go into her acting role like she's been doing since like Alexandria, but I don't know. Did you think they have like cameras in that room or something, like they're monitoring from outside?
Yeah, but I think she really was hyperventilating. I think she was having a panic attack.
She's a Daniel Day-Lewis of Walking Dead. She fits the role.
Well, she is at that. I thought she was faking it immediately. I don't know. That was just me. I just thought she was trying to get their attention, trying to buy any time that she could. Really, I thought
because she knew that Daryl and Rick would be on the trail and coming to save him, right?
I don't know. I don't know if you could really say that she was waiting for the guys to save him. I mean, this is as one of the listeners in the J Jack Facebook group had pointed out, it's a very female episode, chick heavy.
Yeah, and I agree, and I've actually wrote that down. I said this was a female heavy episode, and I thought it was well done.
The one thing that I was thinking about is I thought that Carol, in a way, was trying to portray herself as like the weaker of the two, just in case something did happen, that they wouldn't go after, Maggie, that they would go after her first. And
it's like Survivor. She wouldn't get voted out first.
Right.
But if you really were, if they want to take someone if they're only, because she said something about, we're only going to take one, wouldn't you take the weaker person, not the stronger person? Who's going to give you the least amount of headaches, the weaker person or the stronger person?
Yeah, but like if you're going to kill somebody, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to put a bullet through someone's head, you would probably eliminate the person that you feel is the strongest. But
Yeah, which would
if
be
you've got
Maggie.
someone that's being a total pain in the butt, and just like hyperventilating and making sounds and stuff like that,
But-
like they probably wouldn't.
But the
wanna
first
date
thing
her.
that she says, when she gets the gag off, is she makes a comment about Maggie being pregnant.
Yeah, she says because they return back, Paula tells Carol to just shut up because they're working. She's working on Donnie. Maggie that gets attention. Molly takes the gag off, and she goes, and even at that point, Molly's like going, "Man, you're just a weak bird."
Right, and by telling them that Maggie's pregnant, they're probably less likely to kill her because
Exactly. That's why I think that was her whole intention. I think she was just starting with like, okay, if I can draw attention to the fact that they should save Maggie, kill me, then it's just a matter of me trying to save my life and maybe Maggie's at the same time. I think she was trying to play any angle she could.
But at this
Right.
point,
But
you watch.
at first, she was trying to save Maggie
Yeah, but if
because
you watch
immediately she gets the gag off. Go
before
ahead.
she says Matt Carol says Maggie's pregnant, they point out that Carol's weak, and they're looking at, and Maggie's just looking at. She had this look at Carol like she was confused. What are you doing? Like, this is not the Carol I've known the last year or so. This is not Rambo
Right.
Carol. This is the first Carol. This is Carol that was weak. This is Carol that I didn't know. This is Carol that was the first season was.
And Maggie wouldn't have been around to see that.
But
that
she
Carol.
was just shocked how Carol was acting. That's the look I got from the actress that was playing Maggie. Her look, I just was stunned. So Carol doesn't. Carol says,
Melissa
"Don't."
McBride.
Yeah, Carol says, "Don't hurt Maggie. Don't hurt the baby." So now we find out that she's pregnant. Donnie goes, "She doesn't look pregnant to me." Well, I'm only 2 months pregnant. 'Cause at this point, Donnie's just like it's a whole scene with women. They need to get rid of Donnie at this point.
He is the odd man out.
And I do like that they portrayed him as being weak. That the women were strong, because even Paula makes a reference later on. Men can't handle pain.
Right.
So I thought that was
Nice callback to pregnancy too.
right.
So something that none of us will ever know. Correct.
No. Russ, do you understand it, Russ?
I do.
Yeah, because I remember when
There's still time for Mike to be the first man pregnant, but
you could do that, Mike.
you're
There you
still
go.
young.
Who knows what'll happen at South by Southwest? Who knows what technology innovations have happened over there?
Yeah, innovating technologies.
It could even happen at a concert.
And I thought it was a great scene between Paula and Maggie. Paula's like going, "Really? You're stupid enough to get yourself pregnant?" And
Right.
Maggie's like they're going back and forth, and Paula says, "Well, the point is to stand, to stay standing." And Maggie goes, "No, walkers do that. You're no better than the walkers. The point is to survive and to keep going and all that stuff like that." And then all of a sudden, Molly starts smoking, and Carol's like going, "Do you have to smoke by the baby?"
I did have to kind of laugh at like how ridiculous that is because of the circumstances that they are in. But
But I think Molly's reaction. Really, this is what you're worried about? A cigarette? You're not surviving this anyway.
again, I thought Carol was trying to drag it out, trying to drag them out. Talk to them more, get them stalling, so that
I thought she was trying to distract them as much as she could.
But I do like the fact that if you look back at this scene, Michelle is doing her job, keeping her gun on Maggie and Carol. She's literally in this position the whole time.
yeah. I took note of that exact same thing, Jack. When I was watching that scene.
They were taped up, hands and.
Did you guys watch The Talking Dead?
I did not watch Talking Dead yet. No.
There was a little fact or whatever saying that actress was freaked out by the walkers, and so she had to go up to each and every one of them and introduce themselves and learn their names, so she would remember that they're humans, they're not walkers.
She accidentally fires off a couple blanks, just accidentally. I'm sorry, I thought you were real.
And then poor Donnie is suffering again because men, we can't handle pain. And Maggie tells Paula he only has like 30 minutes. His alarm's gonna go, nerve damage is gonna go through. He's gonna lose his arm. He's gonna die. And I don't think Paula really cared. Right?
Right.
Say your line, Jack.
What? If he
He
dies,
dies,
he
he
dies. And that's when Donnie he's getting mad. He's all mad at Carol because Carol shot him in the arm. And why does she get her? Why does she get her? We should shoot her. And Paula goes no. And Donnie goes, well, shoot her in the arm. No. And then Donnie gets up and then Donnie smacks starts Paula.
Maggie.
No, first he smacks Paula.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, and then Maggie attacks.
And then
right?
Maggie attacks him. Then he starts fighting with Maggie. He says, oh, don't punch her in the stomach. Don't punch her in the stomach. And then Maggie headbutts him. And then Carol gets into there, but then he kicked Carol a couple times, and then Paula came and smacked her in the back of the head with a gun, and down goes Donnie. That's the last we hear from Donnie.
Pretty much.
It's the old thing where every TV show, if you just hit somebody once in the back of the head, it knocks them out.
Unless you're the Terminator.
Yeah. I mean, I've been hit.
I kept waiting for that class. I kept waiting for them to bring that up in shop class, right? Like, this is something they teach all boys in shop class, and women too.
Yeah.
You know, it's important. It's important to know how to use a gun to just knock someone out. There's a little spot.
And then I thought it was.
But
that was a weird.
you skipped over Paula's line after that. She's like, "He's just a warm body in my bed.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal."
Yeah. He's losing his arm anyway. He's not going to be as attractive. Right? Am I right? So then I thought this was a weird. Go ahead.
Oh, did you recognize, where you've seen the actress that plays Paula before?
Just
She was everywhere.
Just okay. Well, what did you say, Mike?
She's been everywhere.
Yeah, she's a lot of shows, but Justified was the one that stuck out with me.
Friday Night Lights.
I was just curious if Jack had recognized. Was she on Friday Night Lights? Oh yeah, she was.
Yeah,
She
she
played
was, yeah.
Cheryl. But she was recently on a couple episodes of Nashville, apparently too. So.
Yeah, I've seen her a lot of shows, but first thought was Justified. Let's see. Then I thought it was a weird scene that Paula tells Michelle to take Maggie and question her.
You thought that was weird?
I just thought it was weird because I thought it was more about humanizing them, having them have something in common. They had similar lives and stuff like that. We'll get to more of it when we get there. And then
I thought at least the comment that she makes when she says that something we should have done at the very beginning anyway, it's like, yeah, you separate out the two people and get their stories.
Right.
And then you compare them. And it's like, yeah, that's what you would have done, like in any I don't know. I've never been trapped in a Lostian episode where I have to be tortured for information. But
yeah, luckily for me, I've never been kidnapped, so I don't know.
It seems like things got sped up by when there was a fight. Like,
Yeah.
all right, let's get this interrogation going before there's another fight.
But then Carol thanks Paula. Thanks for helping me out. I was my husband Ed used to beat me, and that's when she stops and I don't really care about your story. And again, I'm thinking this is more just Carol showing how she's weak and because they're buying into it. But
Yeah.
At the end, I'm still not convinced that wasn't I don't think that was Carol's plan. I think she was trying to reason with him. I think Morgan had gotten in her head, and I think she's tired of killing people, and I think she's trying to change her life.
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think they're at the point now where they can tell when they run into a group if this group is like strong or not strong. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I think they can sense that, and I think she was just playing them all.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it might be a little bit of both. But anyway, Paula says she's pathetic. Carol tells Paula they're talking about the faith, and she said, "Well, faith, helped me get through my death of my daughter." And I don't remember Carol ever was faith. I don't remember. I just don't remember her praying or something like that.
That's where I felt like it was the yes, like she is completely using this as a as a way of getting at them. So, but
I mean, anybody remember Carol praying or anything like that?
I can't ever remember her doing that on the show.
mm-mm.
And then you have Maggie and Michelle seem to be bonding. We find out that Michelle was once pregnant. She lost the tip of her finger because she stole gas to go see a boyfriend that was kind of a jerk anyway. I think she said the word dick.
Yeah.
She wanted to go find his body, but it was just she didn't really even seem to care about him. But anyway.
Was I guess it's pretty much assumed that he was in the group that Daryl named.
Oh, you're probably right. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, good point, Russ. Wow, that's why we keep you. Carol tells them.
Cheeseburger for me.
Carol tells them why they had to kill their people, and I thought Paula was pretty. Well, that's fair enough. You had to defend yourself, but you didn't need to attack us. There was no reason to attack us. Agree, disagree. Mike?
But she had a good response. We heard Negan was a maniac. Or Negan sounded like a maniac.
Yeah. And then what did Molly say?
Right.
We're all Negan.
My cancer lung is even Negan.
Yeah. And then Carol asked for a cigarette, which I thought, how's she going to smoke this cigarette? Her hands are tied, but she figured out a way. Because she's Carol.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the part where we have an audible. And Matt, you're the quarterback now. Go.
I'm sorry, like my whole screen like froze up there, so I didn't hear anything.
I don't hear Jack
Sorry.
at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we're putting in Brock Osweiler here.
So
Oh. So Jack just froze up on us?
He just retired. He's had too many hits in the NFL. CTE.
Jack, I think Jack just got hit in the back of the head.
So we can
with a gun.
we can stall until he comes back, or we can keep going without him.
We could. I just don't remember what we were talking about. Like I didn't remember where Jack was at in the whole thing because it all of a sudden froze up, and then the next thing I heard was you.
We were just mesmerized by his amazing recap.
He's really going beat by beat. Go ahead, Russ.
I think we were talking about. I don't know where he was going with that. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Nobody knew where Jack was going with it. I mean, he's so structured with these recaps now. I'm glad that he writes them, but he's just like, hey, no time for idle chit chat.
Jack just texted and he said not sure what to do. So is there any way we can invite him back?
Yeah, I say we just try to finish the episode in the next 10 minutes, and then we'll be ready to go for sports talk.
His computer's frozen, so.
Try logging back in. We are still recording. We'll try that.
Alright, so how many minutes are we in this so we can tell Colleen to cut this out?
We can always try that. So we'll see if Jack can come back on here. So
I say it's about the 40-minute mark.
I have no
Well,
idea.
let's just keep going. So we're at the point where
Is she interrogating? Was there a scene where like there was the interrogation scene that never really seemed like an interrogation? Okay.
She had told her that she used to be pregnant, and her finger got cut off. And I said that I think her boyfriend was the guy in the group that Daryl napalmed, and that's where we're kind of going from there.
Okay. I just thought the whole interrogation scene, like the way that it ended, I was like, what is she gonna do? Like, how do you threaten a pregnant woman, right? Like,
right. Well, I think she was just wanting to know. I think she was just wanting to know where they were staying because where their group was, and she's not gonna give it up. So.
Yeah. It just seemed like they were kind of at a stalemate because the other woman didn't seem like she was wanting to like torture or anything like that.
I'm back. I had to reboot my computer. Just completely froze.
Oh.
I couldn't do anything. It just froze.
Well, we're on to the previews for
Oh.
next week. If you want to talk about the previews for next week.
Okay. So where do we stop at? We'll have to tell Colleen.
We stopped at. We just basically talked about that interrogation scene, and that was kind of it.
Okay.
so-
So that's where we left off.
Yeah, we kind of just briefly talked about that, but I don't know what happens after that interrogation thing. Like, I know there's a commercial break, and then it comes back.
Talk about her pregnant. God damn it.
Right,
Still
and then
there?
the whole Frank thing, tattoo.
King
So-
Joffrey, Midwest people. I don't know. I'm lost.
I just don't remember what comes back after the whole, like, fake interrogation.
We're talking about Tyrion coming back, and
Okay. Stop. These are spoilers.
Didn't you hear Ian McShane's quote about?
I saw he did something, but I didn't read it.
Is he
Yeah.
gonna be on Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Cox.
Yeah,
Wow.
and apparently he doesn't really care about spoilers. He said that it's just dragons and
All right.
yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
we're gonna have to let Colleen know how far into it that
It's around the 40-minute mark.
around 40-minute mark.
Sure. Yeah.
Are you-
I'll watch it tomorrow, and
Okay.
I'll tell her where to.
Okay.
you
So
can jump back in.
so Paula kills. You ready to go again?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Paula again calls Carol weak. Then Paula tells her backstory. She was a secretary and with a husband and 4 girls. And Paula says how she killed her boss. It was her first kill. She stopped caring once she reached double digits. So now she can just kill without thinking about it. But as we find out, Carol is the 18 is the people she's killed, and it's starting to affect her.
Yeah.
I mean, Paula's, Carol's killed, look at the flowers, do this. She's killed 18 people, and now it's starting to affect her. Now it's like they're going different directions. Agree, disagree?
Yeah, I really liked this scene. I thought this was kind of like, I mean, having these 2 women and the paths that they've chosen, and discussing that. I don't know. It was great. So I like that it also kind of led up to what is kind of like at the heart of this episode. So
Right.
love it or hate it. I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there that just found this episode a little slower and maybe boring that just focused on this dynamic of these 2 characters. But
Matt, what am I allowed to think about this episode this week? Can I like it or can I hate it?
I never said that you had to like last week's episode. You were just kind of already like, I don't like this episode because I have to watch it.
That kind of seemed like you had a little J in you right there.
I didn't say there was any lazy writing or anything, but
No. You didn't say that. But you did have that attitude. I don't want to watch it. And I'll be honest. I've been there. Like sometimes, like, I don't want to have to watch this episode.
You were very fringe season. Whenever
I don't know.
you did
Last
that.
week I definitely want to take a nap or go to sleep.
So we have Carol tells Paula she will die if you don't work this out. Paula asks, "Are you going to kill me?" And Carol says, "I hope not." So this is where Paula. At this point, I'm thinking Paula's not. She's so into this. Carol's weak. She's not thinking, okay, maybe there's more to this girl than I think. Anybody? Mike, Russ.
A little bit.
Yeah, maybe a tad.
Well, if someone says, "I hope not," would you think, okay, this girl could possibly kill me?
Well, I mean, I would be more worried if she had have answered that I will. Because we've seen that before in this where, someone says I'm going to be the one that's going to kill you kind of thing, and it's like, okay, well, I got to worry about them.
All right. Rick talks to Paula on the radio. Carol tells Rick is a man of his word. You can trust him. He's a man of his word. And then I think Paula realizes there was no static. They're probably close by. They're probably already here. We need to set the room up. So her and Molly go to set the room up to make sure that it's safe for them and all that stuff. Carol becomes Rambo Carol again. She takes out the cross and is able to sharpen it and cut the tape off, and then she goes searching for Maggie, and she finds Maggie, who is already trying to take the tape off. Now, did they go to Michelle and say, okay, leave Maggie alone?
But at that point, there was only 3 of those women trying to defend the safe compound, so they needed all hands on deck to try to
I
kill
get
the
that.
walkers. And then
But did we see it? We're just assuming that they told her?
I think Michelle had to take a bathroom break because she just kind of disappears from the action for a little bit. It's like, where was she? And then all of a sudden she kind of appears. If we follow the logistics of the people, what they were doing.
And this is where I
Like-
finally realized that Carol wasn't faking it. That she had changed because she says she wanted to leave. And Maggie says, no, we can't. We can't leave them alive. We have to kill them.
Yeah, that's where I was like, wow, Maggie, right? Like,
Yeah,
I didn't
Maggie,
expect
yeah.
her to be like that. I don't
She's
know,
Rick.
have that
she's,
same
she's,
bloodlust.
she's in Rick mode but
She
Carol,
is kind of Rick 2.0.
Carol in the
Yeah.
past was that Carol wouldn't have hesitated. We got to kill these. We need to survive. We need to kill them.
She did have that cigarette, so she was feeling pretty mellow.
They set a trap because you got Walker Donnie, and he bites Molly, which I thought was a great scene. And Molly's
Yeah, they let that trap for him too. That was pretty awesome.
that was pretty cool. Then Maggie finishes her off several times.
Ooh.
Where was the anger from Maggie at Molly? Was it she was smoking a cigarette so close to her? I mean, she literally smashed her head until it was like spraying on the screen.
She's
I don't
speaking for
know
thousands of moms out there.
I really didn't know what that was all about, to be honest with you. I was like, okay, what is she so frustrated about?
Was it maybe a pregnancy thing, or just I didn't see anything where Molly. She died. She dies. She dies.
I
But
think it just showed how cutthroat and ruthless Maggie was, because it was like as soon as Maggie had, we even saw Maggie like as soon as what's her name, Paula had left the room, she was the first one to start like trying to take off her binds, whereas
Right.
Carol was a little bit more slow on the uptake.
Mhm.
So I think we're just seeing that Maggie is like, she is more ruthless in this moment. She is like, we're gonna kill him. We're not gonna leave him. And I'm gonna stomp this lady's head off. I'm gonna kill this guy and take off his. Like she does. And you haven't even gotten to the last moment where we just see really how far. She
No,
pulls a
I-
mama bear, like the most ultimate mama bear moment, right?
yeah,
I think Maggie's just in a different frame of mind now because she's, if you remember in the first half of the season, she went without Glenn for so long, and again now she's separated from him and she's carrying a baby, and I think she's just like in that mode of like, gotta get back to Glenn because you saw them hug when it happened.
I got to get back to Glenn, so I'm going to smash Molly's head until it's a pancake.
Right. Hey,
I
you
just-
never
I've
know.
I've been working my
Maybe,
way
may-
back to you.
maybe she just had like a forehead like Peyton Manning's, and she couldn't figure out where the brain was. It was just that big.
It does get slippery once you start getting some of that blood on your shoes too.
That's,
So
Yeah.
that's true. Didn't think about
yeah.
that. Then Paula comes in. She's not happy, and then we find out they going through and they got these walkers. They're all trapped. They got like spears in them. It's a trap to keep them.
It's
And
a
then-
trap.
And then Paula shoots at Carol. Paula shoots at Carol, and they hold the gun. She's holding the gun, and Carol tells Paula to run. Just run, just run. And that's where I said, okay, she wasn't acting. She doesn't want to kill anymore.
Yeah. Maybe she was trying Morgan's way. Maybe you're right. I kind of went into this episode like it was just clear cut, like, Carol's just a mastermind. But maybe you're right. Maybe there's a little bit of Morgan's philosophy that's rubbed off on her.
Again, I thought the same thing, but as the episode went along, I said, okay, she wasn't acting. She doesn't want. It goes back to where she's kissing. What's the guy's name, Mike? You're good at names.
yeah, I know the guy who's probably still alive. Hashtag not Carl.
The guy that beat walnut cookies or beat
Oh.
whatever they are cookies. The
Construction
guy
guy.
she kissed.
Uh,
The guy she kissed.
Logan. No, it's not Logan.
Anybody
Gosh, what is that guy's? It's not.
We'll just
Right,
move
but-
on. We're three stupid guys here.
I went to Mike, who's the best at names, and Mike left me hanging. Thanks, Mike.
I don't know, but he kind of has that glare look that Eli Manning has. So we'll call him Eli for now.
Eli, okay, so but maybe she just wants to have a better life. She keeps telling her to run, and then this is where I thought Carol was going to die. One of the walkers gets loose and like hits Carol, and then Carol shoots her in the shoulder. I think Carol's got a thing for shooting people in the shoulder in this episode. And then we see, and then Carol's laying down there as they go through. Maggie and Michelle are fighting, and then but then Michelle cuts her right in the shirt where her, I said,
Yeah.
"Oh no, the baby! Gotta save the
Right.
baby!" And then Carol comes in without hesitation because she's saving Maggie, and just blows Michelle away. So we got Carol's back now.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, that was both cool and cold at the same time.
Yeah,
You know,
she just
like
blew
seeing
her
that go
away.
down.
But I think
Yeah, like-
she saw what happened to Maggie,
Mhm.
and this whole episode was she was like I think you guys said earlier, she was trying to protect Maggie, and you don't.
She
mess
wants to
with
be the
Maggie.
godmother.
Yeah, exactly. Who's gonna
Carol's
make
the
the best?
godmother.
Who's gonna make the best cookies for the baby?
Yeah.
Come over to
Right.
Grandma Carol's house.
So no cursing on this podcast, but we're discussing a show where a girl gets shot in the head, a woman gets stabbed in the head like 10, 15 times by Maggie, and then we even had an a-hole dropped by Daryl, I think.
Well, I said Dick earlier. I said
There you go.
so there. It's kind of there. Does that make you feel better, Mike?
There you go.
You want a little swearing there?
I
I want
thought
to be
you were-
explicit
I-
podcast.
I thought you were just.
No bleeping out by
I
anybody.
thought you were just sending out a friendly hello to John Clayton.
Yeah, when you say that, you are talking about. So then we come back, and Paula's there, and she says to Carol, "Oh, you're good." So now I think she believes that Carol was just putting on an act.
Yeah, she was doing her golf clap.
Yeah.
In the episode.
And then, of course, Paula gets up. Carol's like saying, "I told you to run. I told you to run. I told you to run." So Carol makes the big rookie mistake. She made the mistake she would have made season 1 or even season
Yeah.
2. She gets too close to Paula. Paula turns her head and then hits the gun, and they're starting to fight. I go, all right, this is where Carol's going to die. Because who's the one that predicted Carol was going to die?
Who knows? But I think Carol was talking about the Seattle versus Super Bowl. She was saying, "I told you to run, not to throw it. 2 yards, that's all you needed."
Beast mode! Beast mode! Beast mode!
I think I was saying Carol, because last week seemed like a Carol-centric episode, although this one was even more so. So, I do like the Carol arc. I thought, as far as her character, it's been pretty strong. Like,
It has, and she's starting to get likable, and you know what happens every time that happens.
Every time we start liking stuff, well, we've liked Carol for a long. I mean, you liked her after you
well,
saw
Russ
Talking Dead,
didn't
Russ.
get to see her in different makeup, so
No,
he's got.
I started liking. I started
Much
liking
hotter chick.
Carol. I started liking Carol Sunday night.
Sunday night. I bet you did.
Yeah.
Then Paula, Paula gets shish kebabbed, and probably one of her grosser scenes. She gets the walker. She's trapped with a walker, and the walker starts eating her face.
I love
Yeah.
how like they play so fast and loose with how quick people turn in the show. Like
Yeah.
Paula turned like instantly. The smoking woman turned instantly. And meanwhile, the Alexandria, we had the mayor took like 2 weeks to turn.
Well, it could be the
Sit in her
weather.
bed,
Sure.
take care of the baby.
It took Donnie a while
I will
to
say
turn too.
I will say that there is a precedent for it in the comic book where, as the thing goes on, the turning or the speed at which they turn goes faster. I don't know if it's like an actual legitimate thing, but it happened in the comic book. It was something of note where they were like, "Hey, why all of a sudden are these zombies turning? Is it something with the virus?"
Except for
Anyway,
the mayor of Alexandria, who was able to take care of the baby Judith, go up there, be in the bed,
yeah.
shoot some walkers before she went out.
Well, that was an infection, which has always had different like category as opposed to like being actually dead and then turning.
But maybe
So-
to Mike's point, we don't swear on this podcast, but you can watch a show where someone gets their face eaten, and she's
That was
screaming.
just Jell-O.
She's screaming as she's getting her face eaten, which was kind of a graphic scene. Carol pretends to be someone calls on the radio. She pretends to be Paula. On the radio, it says, "Meet us at the kill floor." Which, if I'm going to meet someone, and someone says,
I'll meet you
"Meet
guys
us
at the cafeteria. Hamburgers.
Can we meet somewhere like Mike? Can we cafeteria anything? But you want me to meet you at the kill floor? The hell's the kill floor? They set a trap. They set a trap for the rest of the saviors. Carol lights a cigarette. I'm like going, what is she lighting a cigarette for? That's going to be. But the room was full of. But here's I'm gonna throw the challenge flag. When they started to shut the door, it made a lot of noise. Not one of them turned around to look.
Oh, right.
At least turn around. And look.
Yeah, we're about to see it here pretty soon. But as far as Jack's
Well, Molly's
reaction
still
to
alive here, so she's.
Oh, Molly's still alive. Okay. Well, we might not make it to the end. But when she said we're in the kill floor, I thought she said kiln. Me having my artist background, I just thought they said kiln floor. Because why would there be a kill floor, right? So anyway, yeah. K-I-L-N. Kiln.
Throw a challenge flag. She didn't like say like a cheesy like Arnold Schwarzenegger line when she threw the cigarette, like smoking kills.
That would have been good, right?
Here goes Maggie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She hit her 7 times. It's pretty graphic. And
Yeah.
Carol looks pretty shaken up by it. But you think the kill floor was something that the Saviors put where they went to go kill people?
I thought it was a slaughterhouse. Like the safety house that they found was just like some kind of like.
Okay.
Because you know how it is. They're about a dime a dozen.
You're probably right, but I thought mine was pretty cool. I thought mine would be cooler. Thanks, Matt.
It could be a tanning salon.
No, thanks, Matt, for spoiling it for me. They set the trap. She throws a cigarette in there. She shuts the door, burns him alive. Maggie and her, she kills Walker Patty or Paula. Just stabs her in the head. I like to your point how fast she turned into a walker. Eugene hugs Maggie. Daryl hugs Carol.
Yep.
I thought that was a good scene. Rick tells Primo, "Your friends are dead. It's time to talk." And Primo says, "I'm Negan." And Rick goes, "Okay," and shoots him in the head. Shoots him. And Carol has the cross in her hand, and she's squeezing it so tight she's bleeding. But I did like how Maggie said finally. She said she said, I can't do this anymore."
Right.
Which I have been saying for a couple episodes. Hey, you're pregnant. Stay home.
Yeah.
So if they should have been listening to maybe they were listening to this podcast. Said, yeah, they're right. We can't have Maggie who's pregnant.
Gotta keep the chicks at home.
Yeah. Well, at least the pregnant ones.
And I will say that there is a thing that if a pregnant woman feels like she's in any type of like a life or death situation for a pregnant woman could terminate a pregnancy.
Right.
I'm not saying that it always does, but I'm saying that it can.
Yes.
Like in very extreme, especially early
on. Yes. Yes.
Like in the first, she's 2 months. It's like, yeah, like if you're in a life or death situation, which she was multiple times, and she killed, like you're risking like just that trauma of killing the fetus.
She fought with Michelle. She fought with Donnie. She killed walkers. She killed other people. She killed Molly over and over again.
Yeah, sure.
She shouldn't be on. She shouldn't be on these missions. And
she turned the kill floor into killing.
Yeah, you remember in that fight too, though. She kind of got hit in the stomach.
Well, she got the knife. The knife came at her.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Like
probably you didn't hear me. I mentioned that before I got cut off. But
just ask Lori. Pregnancy can be life or death situation.
It can be. But do you think this is it for Carol? Does Carol not go out on any more missions? Is Carol going to be set cooking, making cookies, and just being Mom Carol again? Is Carol done being Rambo?
No.
No.
She's too dynamic of a character.
I don't think so.
Because I think you do.
I think
this
she's
episode.
gonna.
I'm gonna
I think
disagree.
she's gonna. I think she's gonna kind of end up being like Morgan now, where let's reason with them instead of just kill, kill, kill.
But I'm saying that she won't be the same Carol. I
She
think
just
you
needs.
do, I
She
think
just
you
needs
do,
one of her friends to be killed, to be spurned into action.
I think you reach a point. I think that's what they were telling us in this episode. You reach a point where you just say, "I can't kill anymore."
Hmm.
I think she can kill, like you said. You're saying a friend. She saw Maggie was in trouble. She didn't hesitate. She blew Michelle's head
Right.
off. And just blew her head off. But she could have got herself killed several times in this episode because she didn't. She kept hanging around.
We got two ruthless back-to-back, like gun to the head, boom. But
Yeah.
I liked Rick's moment at the end there. It was like, I don't have time for this. Like, you're a Negan, whatever. Like, although I would have liked, like, did Rick understand that he was really not Negan? Like, is he
Right.
going to be informed? Like, hey, by the way, these other people are calling themselves Negan. Like,
They just seem more concerned where you got the bike.
yeah, I know the whole time. I was like, where'd you get? Oh, I took out a loan, from my bank, but I bought it down at the guy on the corner.
But
I
since there
found
was
him on
the
Craigslist.
world ended, I didn't have to pay it. Didn't have to make payments on it. But go around the table. Russ, what do you think of this episode?
I liked it. I've liked all of them so far.
We'll save Mike for last. Matt, did you like this episode?
I did, yeah. I think they're on a roll here as far as like the number of pretty good episodes we've had right in a row. Like it hasn't. I think what I really enjoyed was the fact that even though it was a detour episode, we'll call it that much, where you have to section these actors off, and have another storyline. I thought
Right.
the storyline was compelling enough, and I'm glad they brought in an actress that could carry the scene. And I think her name was Witt. Was it something Witt? I can't remember.
Catherine Witt.
Alicia Witt.
Alicia Witt.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
she's a
glad
good
that they brought
actress.
somebody in
She's a strong actress.
of her caliber to carry that episode, and that it wasn't a man abusing, but it came up, and I don't know. I liked all of the beats that they had, and it wasn't. I didn't feel like it was too heavy on the female side, but just enough. So.
Well,
Sorry,
I
that was a long,
like
short
how it showed. And I'll say I liked it. I actually loved the episode. I thought it was great because it didn't. Like I said, my biggest fear was it was going to drag out, but it didn't. I like the fact, like
Yeah.
Jessica said, it showed women as strong characters, and I thought that was great. And they did a good job of showing the men as weak. Donnie was the weakest character in this episode. He was just he was a baby. He was
That's
obviously
true.
shot in the arm, but they basically just treated him. He was just there.
And then the men don't rescue. The men never rescue the women, right?
No,
even the quote unquote survivor bad guys that are showing up at the end, like they're actually all slaughtered by two
Right.
women.
Two women who both are done. I think tired of killing. They're both tired of killing.
TCB man, taking care of business.
Right.
You
So
gotta do
I thought this was a fantastic episode. And I just like how it played out, and the direction we're going. I do think Carol is done being Rambo Carol. I think she's done. She at this point she can't go on missions anymore because she'd be like Paula was saying. How did you survive? Because the Carol we were seeing, how did she survive? The only reason she survived because Daryl saved her at the beginning. It was because she was weak. I mean, her husband Ed was an absolute ass, and he had beaten her down so much that she was just afraid of her own shadow. She became this different Carol, the Carol we affectionately call as Rambo, and I think now she doesn't want to kill anymore. She doesn't want, and if you don't have that edge, if you don't have that, you can't go on this thing. And it'd just be funny if these people could just learn to live together.
Those crazy people.
But it's not going to happen because everybody wants what theirs. But when Paula was talking about her experience and she was talking about the story about the coffee beans and all that different stuff, she said, "Well, I had a family. I had a husband. I had 4 daughters, 4 girls. These people did have a life." And now, Mike, what did you think?
Since you guys didn't watch Talk Dead, she said there was a line right before she left Carol. So like she walked out of the room, and as she's walking out, she says to Carol, "You're somebody I would have sent like a cat email to or something like that."
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Oh. Huh.
but they cut it out because they didn't want to make her appear like likable character.
Well, at one point they did seem like they were they had a connection.
Right.
But Paula was like, I can't. I have to survive. My goal is to survive and survive and survive. But Carol was like saying, you're going to die. And now we're seeing the scene where she's getting her face ripped off, and Carol's just looking,
It's
going,
beautiful.
that's just a mess. But Mike,
Just a bunch of gum.
did you like this episode?
It was a great episode. Actually, was disappointed they killed those characters off. I thought they had like great lines. I thought they were badass, or in the words of Russ, they were badass chicks.
Awesome.
I was disappointed to see them kill off these characters just like one episode in. Like I would have liked to see them be around for like a couple episodes.
You know, I was kind of hoping that maybe Paula would say, okay, you know, you guys are tough. You know, maybe we could work together. Can I be part of your group? But I guess in the end they had to kill her because that's just what had to happen. But I agree. I like the actress, and it'd been nice to see her hang around for a while. But I agree. Great episode, and so we're all on board this week.
Oh.
We all liked it.
Yeah.
We don't have to. We don't have to always like it.
No,
No.
no, I'm
Wrong.
No,
say
but
that.
they've been on a roll lately. They've all been pretty good.
No, I agree. We don't
I mean,
have to like it.
I mean, I can see where some people might have felt that this was slow. I mean, I obviously take time out of my week to sit down and just kind of like soak it in. I get to watch the commercial-free version, so it just flows usually for me.
Right.
I think sometimes the commercials, I could see where it would really drag out like some of these scenes a little bit more, but I still liked it. Since I did it last week, I'm going to try to do it this week. I'm going to come up with a Matt Pot theory of the week.
Okay.
Since Jack's all out of Jack crackpot theories of the week, I'm coming up with a Matt Pot theory. You convinced me, Jack. I think Carol turns a new leaf. They go back to Alexandria, right? And she's like, I'm going to run this jail with you. And they put Rick in the jail. And
Wow.
that's when this Negan comes up and like Rick's in the jail. Like you're number one, right? I don't know. That's my
Jack's
Okay.
theory would have been
Crazy.
like Carol worked for Dharma.
But how are you going to convince people? Because right now they're pro Rick. You have
Right.
Morgan and Carol. Okay.
I don't
Morgan
know
and
how
Carol.
they get from A to B. I'm
No,
just
no,
throwing
no,
out
no.
the Matt Pot
The
theory.
Matt Pot theory. You have to have a reason how that's going to come into effect.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
I think I called him.
my
I think I called Glenn Eugene. It's Glenn. I don't know where I got Eugene at, but Glenn's not going to go on that side, right? Maggie won't.
Negan is
Right.
coming. Negan is coming. They don't have time to worry about issues between Carol and.
Here's my Matt crackpot theory. My Matt crack theory. What is it called?
that's just me, Matt Pot theory. I was just
Matt
having
Pot theory.
Matt
Here's
as
my
opposed to
Matt Pot
crack.
That
we don't know where his Matt came from, but Matt Pot.
Matt Pot theory. I think that the
It's-
Jesus group is going to be their next people coming after him.
Negan is coming. Negan is coming.
Negan might be
So you
coming, but
think
they need to worry
the
about
hilltop
Jesus.
people.
The hilltop people,
But-
the ones they have to work.
But they were weak anyway. They can't.
Were they?
I don't know. I think your Matt Pot theory is weak.
Well,
I've got the better coffee beans.
I don't see. You had me when you said she's going to work with Morgan.
Work with Dharma.
Yeah, Carol and Morgan, and they're going to build that jail together.
I
just
get that,
like
but
just
to
like
have
they
Rick-
built that church.
to
On,
throw
on
Rick-
the-
is Carl going to let because Carl will keep one eye on everybody. So there's no way.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it just kind of that plot line just goes the wayside of like the army.
Hey,
That
you
never
could be
got
right. Don't back down. Don't back
Okay.
down from a Matt Pot theory.
I'm going off of what Russ said last week. I liked Russ's idea about the jail cell. That's what Morgan was building.
Unfortunately, I think Russ is 100% right. Which
The
pains-
chicks,
crazy.
chicks look hotter
Got me convinced.
after Sunday night.
A cheeseburger in every pocket and a chick on every hand.
Mike, do you have a Mike Pot theory?
Negan is coming, and one of our characters is gonna die. Who will it be?
Which character?
Let's flip Maggie and Glenn.
Where did I get Eugene?
Maggie
Was
and
there
or Glenn.
Eugene on the show?
He's back with the rest of the people, so we
No,
won't
I-
get back to Eugene's story.
That's Eugene. I'm not sure where I.
Eugene, he's the scientist.
Yeah, I got it. And Russ? Do you have a chicken pot pie theory?
Emphasis on the chick.
You know, I don't trust the Jesus group, so I think there's more to them than
So
just.
you're with me on that one.
Yeah, I think there's more to it. Like I think maybe they set Rick and them up to get rid of this group here for something else. Like I think, and you know, to be honest with you, my first thought was that I can't think of his name, but the guy who got shot.
Donnie in this episode?
No, the guy who got shot. You know, who made the deal with Maggie.
No, he got stabbed.
Oh.
Or stabbed, yeah, not shot, stabbed.
The boss.
Yeah, the boss. Like, for some reason, I keep thinking that maybe he's this whole Negan character.
Ah. Now, that would be cool if he turned out to be Negan. But
right.
Mike is shaking his head. He doesn't like your chicken pot pie theory.
No, they hired a pretty big actor to play Negan. So.
Yeah,
okay, well, just ruin it for everybody, but, you know.
There you go.
Like, my thinking was...
Spoiler alert for people. Unfortunately, we're live.
Yeah, great.
Sorry, 3 viewers.
All right,
I do like that Russ had this idea on his own that would be Negan. I mean, you know, he doesn't know that they've hired, so
but
it kind of does spark the imagination.
Rick and the crew didn't see the whole compound. They don't know these. It could have been a scam that they had these. All we have is stakes. We're weak. We can't beat these guys. We can't.
Right,
we can't do that.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
they don't have weapons. How do we know they don't have this? We don't have that.
Like, I think maybe it was a setup to, you know, I think they realized that Rick's group is pretty strong and that they were maybe setting them up to thin them out a little bit or something. Like, I'm not exactly sure, but I don't quite trust them.
I'm agreeing with Russ here.
I think you saw how easily they got stabbed and killed by how weak they were. That was
all right. I think
they were.
But you know what?
I think we've now split into team Matt and Mike and Russ. And...
To me, that whole thing looked like a setup. If that guy really wanted to kill him, he knows where to stab him. Like maybe that was part of the deal. Is like, hey, you're gonna stab me, you're gonna take one for the team here, and you know, we're gonna get these guys fooled. He didn't have. He could have stabbed him anywhere. Why did he stab him there? I mean, they should know to stab somebody in the head if they want to kill him.
Well, ask Maggie.
Well,
I think they might work for the governor.
Yeah.
All right, we need to wrap this up because we got to do sports talk, and we're 3 minutes late. But at this time, I'd like to thank a couple three special patrons. We got Tack from Tokyo, Eckhart Rickner Gladfelter, and Brad from Chicago.
Oh my gosh, we got a third.
Got a third. So thanks for helping us out all you can. That's it. That's all I got. Matt,
you want to thank the other podcasts you do?
What other podcasts?
You already talked about those podcasts.
I talked about that earlier, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Again, the whole enchilada, you get it all and see us all and do that stuff and all that crap. So, Matt.
Great show, kid. 1 in a million.
See you next week.
You did it.
Hasta luego.
Adios.
Hasta luego. And goodbye.
Bye.